The second episode of Outlander Season 6 is Allegiance, which aired on March 13, 2022. Jamie had a difficult time with his first request as an Indian agent. Roger is the officiant at an odd funeral. Marsali has a child. When a discovery is made, though, the euphoria is fleeting. Before we get into it, more details about Episode 1, please click on the like button. It helps our channel grow. Jamie accepted the new governor's appointment to become the Indian agent at the end of last week's episode. While Jamie is aware of Claire's predictions about the impending war, he also recognizes that the other candidate will instead preach diplomacy and respectful cohabitation, hastening a future confrontation. Jamie and Ian are on their way to see the Cherokee people. The chief demands that the Crown provide him with extra weaponry so that they can protect his region from invading colonists. Jamie is frightened that guns in the wrong hands could result in violence once more. He informs the chief that he will bring the request to the governor's attention, but that he cannot guarantee anything. Later that night, two women remind Jamie how much he misses Claire, while Ian foils an attempted seduction with a hurried excuse in his rusted Cherokee. Jamie is debating what to do in response to the chief's request, as he wants to do what is best for both parties. Roger is called back to the Ridge to function as a lay preacher because no one else in the area is competent to conduct Granny Wilson's burial service. Roger's Presbyterian prayers are combined with an old Gaelic tradition of paying the Sin Eater to symbolically forgive the people's transgressions. The service has an unusual story twist. Jemmy discovers Granny Wilson stirring in the middle of the prayer. Claire is diagnosed with an aortic aneurysm, but she also realizes she will die as a result of the extensive damage. Roger completes the service once Claire is proven correct. Roger's preaching has impressed Tom Christie, but he now believes Claire is a witch. Here's where you can make an eye roll. Bree figures out how to make matches with 18th-century materials as Roger tries to emulate Reverend Wakefield. The majority of her family is dismayed that her discovery isn't a pregnancy announcement. Claire, on the other hand, is overjoyed that Bree is pursuing her dream of becoming an engineer. Marsali is on the verge of giving birth. Malva Christie is hanging around with Claire, attempting to pick up some medical knowledge. Her father is irritated by her wicked ways, which include doing something other than his responsibilities all day. As the tale shifts to focus on Marsali's pre-birth problems, Malva's blossoming bond with Claire feels rushed. She also discovers Marsali's arms are bruised and wonders if Fergus is to blame. Marsali claims they've fought, but he's always tending to the still or drinking. Fergus is plainly turning to alcohol to help him cope with his remorse and what he witnessed. Some may view Fergus and Marsali's feud as pointless, yet the couple has faced significantly fewer emotional difficulties than Jamie and Claire or Roger and Bree. Roger's success in persuading Fergus to support Marsali was the perfect conclusion to Roger's prior troubles. However, the audience is as uncomfortable as Jamie and Bree are when they hear them because of their physical intimacy and breastfeeding. Claire diagnoses Marsali's kid with dwarfism after she gives birth to a son. Fergus is unable to handle the circumstances and flees. The Frasers try to persuade Fergus to accept little Henry Christian, but the ableist sentiments of the time make it difficult. Ian pays a visit to Marsali and bestows the traditional Mohawk blessing on the child. This is the scenario in which Ian admits that he had a kid with a Mohawk lady. Despite the fact that show-only viewers are unaware of the full tale, Ian understands Fergus' anguish and bewilderment. Ian's revelation is significant in guiding Jamie's diplomatic decisions as the Indian agent, and it is not just an emotional outpouring. Despite the fact that Major MacDonald had told Jamie that the Cherokee had fought alongside the British during the many conflicts that made up the 7 Years' War during the preceding decade, the Cherokee may still alter their minds regarding future cooperation. Jamie initially informs the Cherokee chief that he will not forward the request in order to avoid violence, but the Cherokee chief is furious. Ian persuades Jamie to reconsider his decision for 2 reasons. He begins by revealing his familial ties to the tribes. Second, he imparts to Bree future knowledge that white Americans utilize their power to deprive Native Americans of their land and culture. Despite the fact that Outlander's time travel laws prohibit interfering with historical events, these exchanges clearly represent an attempt to acknowledge historical wrongdoings within the context of the fictitious plot. Jamie recognizes that the Cherokee people deserve every opportunity to protect themselves from this fate. Jamie then sends a letter to the governor, detailing his need for firearms. Now that's it for today. Let us know in the comments section what your thoughts are about Outlander Season 6 Episode 2, and if you are as excited as us about the series. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel, for more videos like this.